turning this on. This is for my notes only. If this thing gets posted to YouTube, you have me committed. Because I am dressed at 100 degree weather on something I made from a dress I bought at the thrift store for $1, and then I changed it into shorts and a top. Okay, before I start, I have to do the hummingbirds in the window because they're screaming at me. So I'm quickly doing this. What I'm doing is I'm going to document how I make my panini sandwiches. And I should have started before I turn this on. Because I need to fry up some onions because I don't want to do them raw. And I have no measurements for anything, so I'm not a chef that can give out a recipe. Because that's the problem. I don't have anything as far as recipe. Okay, I need to fry up a few onions. I think I'll use butter. Hummingbirds are screaming in the window. Kitty, this is onion. I cannot give you this. And I only want to use half right now. Didn't I save the plastic bag? I threw it away. Ugh. About a half onion. So I'm going to quickly fry that up. The problem is, I make a lot of cool things, Kitty, right? And then I never remember what went in them. I made this really good potato pie. I have no idea how to make it that. Alright, so we're going to need some flour. And I'm using gluten-free flour. And there's no way for you to see that because I didn't set up the camera right. I have no measurements. See, can you see it if I do it here? Maybe. Remove my pea. I'm just going to take a little bit. Looks like, okay, maybe it's a cup and a half gluten-free flour. I bought a whole bunch at the 99-cent store. Usually gluten-free flour could be like $4 or $5. I threw them in the freezer. I have a big freezer. Okay, let's grab wrong onion. Whoa! It's getting my eyes to tears. I bought this onion. We forgot to plant onions. Last year we had so many onions we could barely get through them, and this year we totally forgot to plant them. Last year we bought the starts. They're little tiny things. You plant them all over. Gary got a bag, and they're cheap, like $4 for 50 to 100. He got a bag of yellow, Kitty's on the floor. A bag of yellow, white, and red, and planted them all over. We had so many onions. And then this year we forgot, you got to plant them around September or October here. Okay, well that is working. I still do need to plant. Going to chop up a zucchini. I'm going to put it in my blender, a zucchini. And because it's a fresh one, I don't need to peel it. You know, my camera, I didn't set it up right. It's not far enough away. You know, I might be able to move the camera a little bit. Move, Kitty. chopping up the zucchini and putting it in my blender. Perfect. Okay, that's off and that can sit. Now, when I finish, I don't even know if you like zucchini. You do like zucchini. Here, over here. Penny, you want to be? Of course you like zucchini. Yeah. Okay, out. That's it right now. I got things to do. Alright, so I cut up a big zucchini, but I'm going to do it differently than I tried it the other day. I didn't measure anything, and I threw everything together, and I add so much flour afterwards. You know what? I can't use the rest of the zucchini, so I'll move this over here. And I put it on a plastic thing upside down so I can use it whenever. Alright, so now, what am I doing? I've got the zucchini in here. Before I do that, alright, about a teaspoon of baking powder into my flour. Can you see my flour? Of course not. So I've got about a cup and a half of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, dash of sugar, kind of too much, but oh well. You always put sugar in just because it brings out the taste, but if you don't want it, you don't have to. And of course, and that was too much, salt. You want to add in black pepper. You can add in a little black pepper. Okay. Okay. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to save that for tomorrow too. I'm going to add in, you really can't see that, milk. I think you can. Save the container. First you put water in here and then you can water your plants. I filled this up so if there's a little bit of milk left, they get some calcium. Put that down there right now. Alright, now we got milk in there. And I'm going to put some butter in. Oh, that might be too much. I have no idea how much. Drop on the counter. Should be fine. And a little bit of butter. Just a little bit. Maybe a teaspoon of butter. Tablespoon of butter, I should say. Alright, so we got butter and milk. Now we're going to blend it. Okay, now I've got a zucchini in here with a little bit of milk and butter. So it's kind of like a thick malt. I'm going to put it in there. Okay, so now we've got the bowl. And now I'm not going to over pour it. What I'm going to do is put in just a little at a time. What I'm trying to do is come up with a dough that I can form into a ball. And when I made it the very first time, which was 2 days ago, see, I did it again, it's still too sticky. I had to keep adding and adding in more flour. This is actually very close to what I want. You'll probably just see it in there. I may add in a little more flour. I have too much of that, but I can use that for anything. That is the way I make my zucchini bread, blending it up. And it's so good. I'm not making that now because I am not going to turn on the oven. Let me move the onion. I'll just leave the onion there that I'm not using with all the other stuff from the garden. You see, I need very little flour. Oh, that's perfect. Is this going to work? I don't know. You're doing this. I'm doing this with me because if this goes on YouTube, then I'm really crazy. I've got instructions from my mother. She started watching YouTube. How can I go on the YouTube with no makeup and sloppy clothes, your old clothes you wear around the house? How can you do that to people? Here's the thing. They don't want to see it, I told her. They can shut it off. Or they can listen to it and not have to look at me. But she tells me I have to go get dressed, and I cannot. It's 100 degrees plus today. Like I said, I bought this really cute dress, but I could never wear it. It was a real small dress. But I cut it, made these shorts out of them, just put an elastic waist. See, and then I made a tube top. And it's so comfortable. I love this material. It's so light and everything. All right, so now I think my dough is done. Wow, I'm surprising myself. What did I forget? I've got salt, I think I've got everything. All right, now we will save the zucchini, the rest of the zucchini. I can make it tomorrow and just put that in the fridge. Now I will heat up the panini maker. All right, I need my oil brush. I need a plate. Gary cooked some beans, and that's hot, so I have no place else to put it. Okay, put that there. Get some olive oil, that's heating up. Now, what I'm hoping to make is something like a patty melt, but gluten-free, because we're not using bread. And I'm going to cut up some chicken. You won't be able to see me. We don't eat a lot of meat, but we do eat a little bit of chicken here and there. Yep, you can't see me. I'm just slicing up the chicken into thin slices. No, Kitty, I did not call you. She's sitting on the floor waiting. She says, they throw to me a lot. Yes, we do. Okay, so I got chicken sliced up. You need to heat this up. I wish I could move this somewhere. I know what to do. No, that's not good. Move that out of the way. Okay, so it gives me a little extra room. Put that there. I don't think I need any more. You know what? Take a little more chicken, slice it up. If I don't need it, I can always dump it back. Do something else with it or feed it to the dogs. Right, guys? Not now. Okay, let's see if we can get this to work. Move, guys. I would like to put mayonnaise on the inside. I don't know if that'll work. But I might try it. This is an experiment. This whole thing. I have not done a lot of this before. I need some oil. I've got onions. What else do I need? What else do I need? This is tea. Oh my God, my gosh, it's so hot today. It's gonna be hot all week. And it's gonna be hotter because we shut the fans off so we can record this. Okay, still lights on. Let's see what else. Cheese. Pepper jack cheese. So I'm gonna do that. Oh my goodness. All right, so I've made my bread, which I'm using a lot of zucchini, no eggs. If you use eggs, it'll get too hard. So by using zucchini instead, the bread the other day, when I've done it before, those rolls I make, it's so soft. I will say the gluten-free bread to me does not taste as good the next day. I mean, Gary eats it. I don't like it. It's probably too much cheese, but any cheese that's left over will get eaten by me. As the dogs are looking. Okay, now, here we go. I want to get ready to try a little mayonnaise, just a little bit. I don't know if it's going to work. This is probably not going on the internet because this is crazy. All right. how much you can really see. This is the Panini Maker. All right, let's make sure my hands are nice and clean. The sandwich came out so big the other day that I only needed one. I'd like to do this live in the winter when it's not so hot, you're more comfortable. I don't mind the heat, but it's been so sticky. All right. All right, so I'm taking my Panini Maker. This is not designed for this. I know that, but I try all kinds of things, whether it's designed to do something or not. And I'm coming over and I'm going to get a little bit, let's see if I can do it over here. A little bit of the flour. It's almost sticky. You know what? I'm going to add a little more flour to it. I think just a teeny bit. If I add too much, it doesn't matter because I still have the mix that I made. Right, Penny? Penny says, you know, I know you talk to yourself, but usually don't talk this much to yourself. But I want as least the amount of flour as possible. Yeah, and you're going to be a little sticky. I wonder if it's the weather. One more thing. This is why I don't have recipes. I don't work by recipes. I never even know what I'm going to make. What I do, no matter what, is I look in the fridge, see what I've got, think for a second, and then I just put it together. Gary hasn't complained yet. All right, let's see if I can get a little room here. Okay, now. Like I said, I'm going to make a real mess. This is why my kitchen's a mess. Everything drops on the floor, but the dogs don't eat, I have to clean up. So I've made like a flat thing. What I'm making is like a flatbread. That's already covered in oil. I could add a little more oil to this. Okay? Okay, that's one. Like I said, if I put this up, my mother would be furious. You're not dressed. You have no makeup. Your hair's not done. It's tied back. How can you let people see you this way? It's hot. If I put makeup on, it's going to melt anyways because we don't have air. I've got the news on watching all the fires. If this turns out, what I could do is make a video like I did on the eggplant that's like 5 minutes. Everything really quick. Now, I'm going to try this. It may not work. A teeny bit of mayonnaise in the center. Look at that. Just a little bit. Kind of will hold everything in place. All right, now we're going to build this. I'm going to put some chicken in here. Okay, so we got chicken in there. Now we're going to put a little bit of onions on top. Oh, Gary's going to say, you didn't go pick bell peppers? He's always trying to get rid of the bell peppers. He's trying to not burn or something. I wonder if I've got some. Yes, I do. They've even got a tomato. No, those are ready for seed. Here's one. All right, so I have some bell pepper. This is from Gary's garden. I know you can't see me because I moved the camera. Cutting up a little bell pepper that he is growing in his dishwashers. Since it's a teeny bell pepper, I'm going to put one piece in each one. And then some cheese. I like a lot of cheese, but I'm afraid it's going to squish out everywhere. Okay, anyways. All right, now I'm going to roll the flour. Ah, see, that works. See, I'm learning as I go along. I'm going to roll the flour. I'm going to roll the dough in the flour. So now I can make it into a nice round patty, see? And what I like is it's got vegetables. If you're making this for kids, you're getting vegetables in them, and they don't even know it. And you lay one on top, see? Like I said, I'll have to do a close-up and do a better one. But this is why people say, why don't you put up a lot of recipes? I don't put up a lot of recipes because I never know what I'm going to make And like I said, that's the bad part, is I'll make something and Gary absolutely loves it, and I don't have the recipe. Okay, now I'm going to brush the top with oil. You are not to do this on a panini maker. Panini? Okay, it's not coming out today. Panini makers are made to use bread. Bread is supposed to be pre-cooked, but I couldn't see why it wouldn't work. Now we're going to let it cook, and you know what? I'm not going to dry my hands. I want to roll the rest of the dough out and at least see how many more sandwiches I can make out of it. I have a teeny kitchen here. I can't complain about it because Gary said he didn't buy the house. I know, I bought the house years ago, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't buy the house for the house. I always used to look at houses, when I looked at a house, was for the property. Oh, I think I can make 2 more if I'm careful. Because you can always, if you ever have the money or whatever, change the house. But you really cannot expand or change the property, and I liked the property. I loved it when I saw the property. The property was just gorgeous. I bought it without consulting anybody at the time. That was good. When I say anybody, I'm talking about my parents. Because when my mom did come out and see the house, she went into hysterics. How can you sit on top of the hill? Oh my gosh. She said, you have no neighbors. I have neighbors. Believe you me, I have neighbors. She lives in the middle of Los Angeles with the hustle and bustle. It takes, no joke, 35 to 40 minutes to go 4 miles in that town. I have neighbors. Not only do I have neighbors, I have great neighbors. A lot of them are sheriffs or from the police department. They like living up here. They like seclusion. So I have neighbors. But to her, because the neighbor's not sitting on top of me looking in my window, it's not neighbors. But yeah, she didn't like it. No, I like being in the city but out of the city. That's what the nice thing is. And I've always liked that. This was the second house. The first house was in another area, and it was also the same way. It was on the outskirts of the city, and it's just, to me, it's much nicer. I don't know. That's the way I prefer. I'm a city girl, born and raised in a heavy community with lots of people, and I didn't like it. My brother loves it. My sister loves it. I never liked it. This goes on all day. Usually it's telemarketers. Okay, now we wait till it browns, and then you got to eat it when they're a little cooler because it's really hot. But if it works, that's it. I press it a little bit because I want to get a nice brown. Yeah, the cheese is coming out for too much cheese. But it's so good. I'm looking at Kitty on the floor. I don't know if you can see Kitty. Kitty, kitty. Told you, my phone rings with probably anywhere from 20 to 40 telemarketers a day. I'm on a do not call list. Doesn't matter. Gotten to the point I can't answer. So, I can't give an exact recipe on this, but once I get it, I can put it up. It's about 1.5 cups of flour, maybe 2 cups of flour, and then I make this mix, which is nothing more than zucchini, a little milk. I even put a little butter in there so it blends up really good so you have butter flavor. Nothing else. I put the salt, the pepper, the little bit of tiny dash of sugar and salt, let's see, I said that, salt, pepper, sugar, and baking powder into the flour. Mix that up, and then I poured the zucchini mix until I can get a consistency where I can roll it into balls. And see, I learned while I'm on this camera doing this, and I should know this because I make rolls too. I used to make a lot of rolls. If it's too sticky, just drop it in the flour and work it that way. So I don't have to worry if it's too sticky. Oh my gosh, these are beautiful. And I know they're going to taste good. Kitty says, I'm waiting. Okay, so like I said, this is for my eyes only. If this ends up on the internet, I'm not going to hear the end of it from my mom. She's going to say, you couldn't go get dressed, you couldn't put makeup on, you couldn't put a little lipstick on, you couldn't comb your hair. That's going to take me, what, an hour, and then I have to think about it, and if I put makeup on, it's going to melt off anyway. It's 100 degrees, and I got to go garden. I got stuff to do. So like I said, just don't look at me. Just listen to what I'm saying or try it. I cook like I garden. That's the thing. I'm not trying to be a teacher. I'm trying to, what am I trying to do? Trying to say what I do. And then you can take what I do if you want and do what's better for you. So you kind of take ideas. You can look, you can watch, here's a perfect example. You can watch a video that somebody's put up, a 30-minute video on step by step by everything they do, and then you'll think you didn't get anything out of it or you weren't interested, and all of a sudden you'll think of one thing they did that you go crazy about. Oh my gosh, you'll say, I can do that. And this happens all the time. It's not what they did. It's what sparks something in your head that will work for you, and you could do something like that. So that's what's so cool about watching videos. All right, this is almost ready. Is you get ideas, and it's not necessarily exactly what they did. It may not even be anything that they did. It just might be something that they said gave you an idea. It's kind of like, I lived my whole life that way. It was very hard as a kid even for somebody to tell me what to do. And I'm not talking about chores or something, just in general, when my mind is always racing. And I could think of, well, why do it that way? It's easier doing this way. And everybody has their own learning skill. It's kind of like my poor grandson. I consider him a genius. He can look at numbers and just give you answers, but he can't tell you the work, how he got it, because it's all in his head. See, everybody functions different. Everybody. Look at that. It lifts right. It's going to lift right off, and I'll probably burn my stuff. Look at that. I don't want to use metal on here because I don't want to ruin my Panini Maker. But this was like so cool. They're hot. Look at this. Now you have a patty melt, and what I did is I made this 2 days ago, and I made it a little differently. This looks better, where I dipped it in a little bit of mayonnaise. But I could take mayonnaise and thin it down with milk, and if you don't use, well, you wouldn't use mayonnaise if you were a vegan. You would use a vegan type mayonnaise, and you can even thin it down more if you wanted to with a little almond milk or cashew milk. But this is so good. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 more. I'll put that under my camera and get 2 more ready. See, I've got 2 more flowers. I'm going to oil the bottom. You have to oil the bottom, and when it's nice and cool, then you can go back and clean your Panini Maker off really good. Get this in the flour so it's not sticky. Don't spill your tea in there. I love my tea. I'm telling you, my hands look so much better. When I stop drinking it, a lot of times in winter I don't drink tea as much. I tend to not drink as much in the winter. I have to stop that. I've noticed right away my hands will start to wrinkle, and as soon as I start drinking my iced tea, you know what, I can put some oil on the bottom. I can see the difference. No joke, can I see the difference? Actually, I can feel the difference all the way around. Okay, and there's another one. So I've got enough here to make 2 sandwiches, and then I can call Gary in. He's around here somewhere. You probably won't see this. It'll probably be from my records. Unless I turn around and say, oh my gosh, I've got nothing to put up. Should I take the chance of putting this up? And if it's really bad, I can always take it down. I don't think I've taken anything down. Okay. But the other day I made it real quick, and I thought it was too thick, the dough. I didn't want a ton of dough. And it's going to spread as it cooks, too. All right. I'll get rid of the rest. No, I want to put some more mayonnaise on. A little bit on each one. I like mayonnaise. I can see it works, so that's why I'm putting it on. What I missed was patty melts, and then I'm going to get people saying, wait a minute, you can go get gluten-free bread. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I have bought it. But generally I do not buy it. It's a teeny little loaf of bread, and they can be $5, $6. They can be quite expensive. And to me, it's just, I mean, yeah, of course I go to the grocery store. I buy very little produce for Gary and I, because we grow really enough. As far as other stuff, I mean, I've been buying bananas because I like bananas. I love composting the skin. But Gary just informed me we're going to have a lot of bananas again. I don't buy a lot, but it's really, I'm going to be honest, it is really super hard psychologically for me to pay $5 to $6 for a loaf of bread that would be gone in a day, when I can make something for literally, it's almost pennies. I mean, like I said, I buy my flour. I keep an eye out at the 99-cent stores. They periodically get them in, the gluten-free stuff, and I'll buy a whole bunch of boxes and freeze it. Just put it in the freezer, and they'll last for a year or two in the freezer. I do have a big, you know, I can't fit that all in there. It's going to be too much. I do have a big freezer. I bought it years ago, and it's still running strong. There's an onion. And I buy a lot of stuff like that I can freeze, unless it's something that will just last in general. Okay. I have enough. I made 2 sandwiches. And I've got cucumber salad. Oh, we are growing so many cucumbers this year. I cannot believe how many cucumbers. I got a whole bunch on the table right now. And again, I thought I got them all. I go out there and I find this massive cucumber again last night that I had to take off. If you leave your cucumbers on there and they go too far into seed, yeah, just lay it on top. Okay, I don't want to pick up anything that fell because I'll burn myself. If you let it go to seed, it may not hurt with 1 cucumber, but if you accidentally left 2 or 3, you could end up with the plant dying earlier than it is. And it's not dying because of anything you did wrong. It's dying because of something it did right. By nature, it's supposed to produce. It's supposed to keep producing to try to produce something. And as soon as it produced, it did the right thing, and then it can die. And that's what it's doing. It's dying because it did the right thing. Okay. That's it. 2 big sandwiches. I'm sure one's going to be enough for me. Gary will eat 2, and then he'll have 1 for breakfast tomorrow if you want. Like I said, I don't like a lot of stuff that's gluten-free. For some reason, I don't like it the next day. I just don't like it. Gary doesn't have a problem with it. I do. Maybe he just likes leftovers. I don't know. There's just something about it. I think it's just it loses the good flavor it had. Like right now, it's going to taste so good, but it loses its flavor, and the dough becomes kind of crumbly. It's not like bread. Bread's okay if it's late, you know, if it gets old, but I'm going to say no on the dough for me. And then even pasta, gluten-free pasta. I don't like gluten-free pasta the next day. Even when I make a salad where I'll cook up some gluten-free pasta, mix it in with some beans, make it like a bean salad with pasta in it, I don't care for the pasta the next day. The bean salad is fine. That can be good for day. Chili is something that's really good to eat days, you know. It seems like chili, if I make a pot of chili, it gets better as it sits. But gluten-free bread, no. Gluten-free pasta, no. Again, that's just me. A lot of people don't have a problem with it. So that's it. I figured out how to use my Panini Maker again. I was making with the other machine that you can make your sandwiches, the sandwich ones where you're supposed to put 2 slices of bread and stuff it and it seals it. Well, I make the same way. You can make rolls out of it. So I could do the same thing with the balls, drop it in there or pour it in there. Either way, you don't have to go so crazy if it's sticky because you're pouring it in there and then you slice it. And I've made it with cornmeal, so it's like, and used it with hot dogs. Once in a while I buy hot dogs. I try to get the ones with no nitrates. And you can slice it. It's like having a corn dog. That's really good, gluten-free. Gluten-free. And I'm not trying to be nutty on gluten-free. I don't care if anybody else is or is not gluten-free. I've told a story on going gluten-free. You probably can't see my knees. I have had knee surgery on that one where they had to take out the meniscus. I think that's what you call it. And they were supposed to do the surgery on the other one because they couldn't move it. It was stiff. And the only reason I didn't run and do the other one was because they had told me 2 weeks. It was longer than 2 weeks. It was on crutches for 4 or 5 weeks and then took so long. So when Gary went gluten-free, in the beginning I didn't. And too long of a story to get into that with Gary. But I started to just cook gluten-free for me. It was just easier to do one meal, you know, for both of us. Not only did the knee swelling go down, the inflammation, so I have not gone for surgery, and that was, what, 10 years ago now. The arthritis that I had in my hands, I had gone to the doctor. I mean, I was typing, and my pinkies were sore and swollen, and my hands were swollen, and all that my doctor could say is I'd have to take ibuprofen because I had arthritis in my hands. So there was nothing I can do. I just suffered through it. But I don't have arthritis anymore. I don't have the inflammation. Am I perfect? No. We still have our aches and our pains and things that go on. But in general, I don't have dry eye. There's one. A lot of people when they get older can get dry eye. And that was an interesting one. My eye doctor found that fascinating. When I went gluten-free, my eyes are fine. Not only are my eyes fine, but they went as farsighted, I guess you would say. They went back to 20/20. So is that all related to inflammation? Is that related to inflammation in the eyes? I don't know. I have 20/20 vision as far. I still, at my age, have to wear reading glasses, which I pick up at the 99-cent stores. And I use at the computer 1 to 150, so it's not real strong. And then if I was going to work on jewelry or something that I wanted to really see, I would use magnifying ones, like maybe something stronger, only because I'm trying to see detail. But when people say they go gluten-free, I really don't want to see people run to the store and buy all the gluten-free stuff, because that's a gimmick. Because at that point, it's like my friend buying peanut butter that was, what was it, low calorie. I said to him, look at the sugar. They've loaded sugar into it. It's not low calorie or fat-free. I'm sorry, fat-free. It was garbage. It was bad. So I got him back on, if you want to buy peanut butter, just buy regular peanut butter. I would say if you're going to go gluten-free, you should try it. Try to cook on your own. It won't be that big of a deal. And think about it. You're eating more fruits and vegetables. You're eating more things that you know what they are. And, you know, in general, you're eating better, but so you have to be aware of what you're eating. Here's an example. If you go buy a gluten-free cake mix, not flour, and you read the ingredients, usually there's about 5 ingredients in there. This is what's fascinating. You'll have your flour, they have something to make it rise, they might put in sugar, salt, basically that's it. Go look at some of the big name brand cake mixes that are not gluten-free. I don't have one. You'll have a list that goes all the way down. All the chemicals and everything they put in it. So on gluten-free cake mixes, a lot of them are really, really good because there's such a small amount of ingredients that they put into it. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that has the least amount of ingredients. And you want the ingredients, you want it to be food that you recognize. Food you can pronounce. Food you know what it is. That's what you want. Because when I read all those chemicals, it's actually quite scary. I overfilled these to get rid of a lot of stuff. And that's what you're doing when you go really gluten-free. You're eating, I'm making, like I said, I make a mess over on everything. The whole idea is to eat better, eat healthier, and know what you're putting in your food. That's the whole idea. Just know, I don't know if I want to try to wipe this down when it's hot. Know what you're putting in your food. Know what you're putting in your body. And I think that's what's made us healthier. Like I said, we still have our issues. Nobody's going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. If something was perfect, everybody would be doing it. Nothing is perfect. But you do what works for you. So when Gary went gluten-free and I started eating, really went 100% gluten-free, I can tell. If I go somewhere, we've gone someplace, they've told us the food was gluten-free, and if they added in a bunch of garbage, my knee will be swollen the next morning. I'll feel miserable. I'll get arthritis in my hands again. I know it. I absolutely know it. With that, I'm done, and I am now going to call Gary, put the mayonnaise back in the fridge. You don't want to leave mayonnaise out. And I'm going to bring out the salad. The odds are he walked by, heard me talking, and didn't come in the house. Because he thinks either she's lost her mind, she's talking to herself, or she's taping. So with that, if this shows up, then I'm really crazy. Look at me. I mean, my garden shoes. This is a garden outfit. It's cute. I like the material. That's why I bought it. It was like $1. They had a sale. It was the Salvation Army that day. And it had anything $1. I buy this long, beautiful dress. It's like, I love the material. I don't wear a lot of dresses. We don't even go anywhere. And it sat for a year in my closet. I dragged it out 2 nights ago. And I looked at it and thought, oh my gosh, I'm just going to cut the bottom of the dress off. So I didn't even have to hem this. Make long culotte type things. Fold it over. Put elastic in it. And then the top of the dress had straps. Just cut it. Fold it, sew it. Fold it, sew it. Tuck in 2 pieces of elastic. A little tighter on the top so you don't lose it. And I had this done in 15 minutes. So with that, come here, kitty. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. So with that, have a great day. If you're seeing this, then I've really lost my mind. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. Again, this was documented for me, so I remember how to make this. Bye-bye. Okay, so what do you think of the sandwich?
It's good.
Well, it was good. It was good. Made the other day, I've only made it twice. Made the other day, it was thicker and a little bit crumbly, but this was less flour. I think more of...
Yeah, this has got a better texture. The other one was a little more doughy, maybe.
You dipped it in mayonnaise. Did you dip it in mayonnaise?
No, actually I put mayonnaise on top of it.
That's what I meant. That's what I did. You copied me. Okay. Tell everybody.
Don't forget to eat what you grow.
And cook.
And cook.
Bye-bye.
Bye.